Us. Spoiler talk. Let's do this. Make sure to stick around afterwards for the discussion that me and my friends have about this movie. Shut up. Okay, so what can I tell you about this movie?
Doppelgangers. Crazy.
All in all, this movie was still fantastic, even after seeing it for a second time, even seeing it with friends, and still managing to have a good conversation about it afterwards. It just makes me want to watch it again, so I can still pick up on things that I still probably missed, which wasn't much because I was taking notes the entire time. There's a lot of reference to 11s in this movie, from the very beginning when she's watching TV and it's on channel 11 with the news at 11, and the time is 11:11. You know what I mean? And you get to the fair, and she wants number 11 on the prize board or whatever, and it ends up being this Michael Jackson Thriller shirt. Crazy. When she's tucking her son to bed. 11:11. Whoa, it's way past your bedtime. What are you still doing up? This is crazy. And then, of course, there's the old bum on the beach from when she was a little kid to when they roll back in town, and he was dead, but he still had the sign in his hand, and it still said Jeremiah 11:11. I looked that scripture up, and even branded on his forehead is 11:11. So, a lot of that in here. So basically, it's this post-apocalyptic movie where it's kind of like zombies, but not really, because they're not dead, they're just clones. So then you get a little heads up from Lupita Nyong'o's clone character, Red, that the government pretty much has been cloning people, and they've been leaving them down there. But when they clone the people, they act like them, they talk like them, they walk like them. They're pretty much them, essentially, but they don't have a soul. The soul is connected to the other person who's real, who's living up top. And so their whole mission is to untether that bind. Cut them, kill them, and I'm assuming the soul will go to them instead, so they can be the real ones. That part was never really clear, but I mean, that's what I'm gonna assume. So Lupita Nyong'o's character that we know, that we kind of fell in love with during the course of the movie, and we just are watching her struggle and stuff like that, turns out to actually be one of these clones. So when she saw her reflection in that mirror house or whatever, and in the flashback scenes and stuff like that, it just always cut. But then later on at the end of the film, you see the whole thing and you find out what happened. She strangles the life out of this little girl, drops her, and carries her back down into wherever the clones live, took her shirt, put it back on, menacingly walks away and takes her place.
So she essentially is living her life the entire time, which is why when we see Brett again and she's the only one that's actually talking and speaking English, she's talking with such a strained voice because clone choked the life out of her, so she crushed her throat. So she has the hardest time talking, but she can't speak, which makes so much more sense. A twist.
Jordan Peele is, without a doubt, becoming the new M. Night Shyamalan. And I kind of dig it. Like, it's making me more anxious to see more of his films as these things develop. He's already talked about gargoyles, so hopefully that becomes a thing. Nostalgia and all. I found the son to be strange because he seemed very similar to his clone, unlike a lot of them. A lot of them didn't have a whole lot of similar qualities. They were very off-based. But the little boy and his clone, they didn't seem too far off. And it makes me feel like her and Lupita, as the actual clone herself, have some like common shared thing or whatever. Like maybe hereditarily he picks something up, or I don't know, I don't get it, but it's just something about him like I just didn't understand throughout the course of this movie. Like, how did he know he could automatically tether and control his other clone to kind of do stuff that he wanted to do and stuff like that? Like, he was just too intuitive with what his clone was doing, and that was weird to me. In any case, you find out later on that it isn't just this family that's being attacked. You turn on the news and you find out this is happening
everywhere. Everybody's going through this. A lot of people were already dead just off the rip from coming into town.
So again, the ultimate goal, I'm assuming, is to kill all these people so they can come up and live their lives and not live as quote-unquote puppets. Stop doing what they're doing and actually do what they want to do. Which is a good reference to the beginning of the movie, because when she was watching TV as a little girl, the real one, before she got taken and strangled and whatnot, she was watching a commercial on Red Hands Across America, or Hands Across America, whatever it was, with the little red people stretching their arms out from coast to coast to coast, which is why they're all wearing red. Her name is Red. Crazy.
At the end of the movie, though, I gotta wonder if it was a win for her or not, because even though the original one died, and the fake Lupita who took her place still won, I mean, people can ignore or try and ignore what's going on all they want, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're still up there holding hands from coast to coast at the end of the movie. So I'm trying to figure out, was it a win? Was it like a sacrifice play? Did she know it was like a suicide mission? Like, it's very unclear about like the motives on this one. Like, it just didn't make any sense.
Good as this movie was, it still had plot holes and it still had things to be questioned, but I feel like these were all intentional, to be quite honest. I feel like he didn't really have like a clear enough vision on like where this was going, if I'm being completely honest. It was still a great movie. I still very much enjoyed it, even seeing it twice in a row, second time. Like, there were still things where I was like, I should have known that was coming. I just saw this. And I still jumped. Embarrassment. There was a scene in the movie that just blew my mind, and the more you watch it, now that you know that what the twist is, it just makes things so much more obvious as you watch the movie. So you would have to rewatch the movie to just like notice all those little things all over again to figure out, duh, why did I not realize this beforehand? Now, there are some people out there that are moviegoers, professional moviegoers, that of course already realize these things like way beforehand. I wouldn't figure that mess out until the end of the movie, so, you know, F y'all. But before they went to the beach, there was a scene where Lupita's sitting on the couch and everything is kind of like white noise because she's tripping, because she's back at the place where she kind of started off from before she took, you know, old girl's whole life away from her. You know what I mean? So, you know, this karma's coming to get you. You reap what you sow. Trouble's coming for you, and I will unleash hell on you type deal. And she knows this. Like, she has to know this. But as she's sitting on the couch or whatever, she's looking at the table. There's this like plastic decorative, I can't say that word. As she's sitting on the couch, there's this plastic decorative porcelain-looking spider or whatever, huge, fake, just sitting there on the table. Okay, whatever, fine. But then there's a real spider that is smaller, but it's still huge. It's a huge effing spider, and it crawls from underneath the fake one. Boom, blew me and my homies' whole mind up because it just made so much more sense by the end of the movie. Just kept wondering, why did you not kill that spider? That was a huge effing spider, and you're just gonna sit there and let it walk on your table? That did not compute for me. And now that I understand that, I'm just like, oh, so that just makes me wonder, was the spider really even there, or was that just in her head?
The daughter's jab at talking about nobody cares about the world. Oh, you know, they use fluoride in the water to control people's minds. Clearly some type of foreshadowing to the clones and how they're tethered to these people. And it's kind of like, it's not like mind control, but I mean, it kind of is. Like, whatever they're doing up there, they're doing down there. You know what I mean? They're just doing it in these weird walkway alleyways, and they kind of don't have too much control over it. This movie was more of a thriller than it was a horror, in my opinion. I mean, there was a lot of blood, there was a lot of gutting and slashing and whatnot, but I mean, I wouldn't call this horror. Like, it could have had like a couple of degrees more of gore if it was gonna hit in the gore department, in my opinion. But I mean, what do I know? I'm just a black guy.
So now you know the plot twist. Lupita is pretty much a clone this entire time, living like a real person, and she took somebody's life, and that person's life that she took, she's coming for revenge because you took everything from me and you crushed my throat. You made me marry somebody that I didn't want or didn't know or didn't like, and have kids and do all these things because we're bound to each other. So now I'm coming for you.
Which honestly makes you kind of like reevaluate the whole movie, and then it's kind of like, do you really cheer for the clone Lupita's character now? Or do you cheer for Red? Like, who's right and who's wrong now in this situation? Like, I get it that you want vengeance and whatnot, but I mean, you kind of killed the masses to do it, so it's really weird. It's a weird concept, but I like it.
If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's definitely a must-see. Even if you know what's going to happen now, you're still going to have to look around for things. Like, you might know what's going to happen now because I'm saying it, or you probably looked on other reviews and saw what's going to happen or heard about what's going to happen, but it's not the same as still watching it and experiencing it. So you should go see it.
Yo, Izzy, tell it like it is.
I'm here with the peeps today, and we're going to talk about it. Topic of discussion, where are we going to start off with first? The significance behind all the 11s?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, all I got from that is that it's a parallel number, and That's all I got on it.
Yeah, I got nothing on it. All I really paid attention to was the scripture. I didn't really care nothing else about nothing else. And I think that was just the main portion of it, because the way it's set up and the way it was moving with the 11s and stuff like that, I felt like it was more like symbolism to like, your time is coming pretty much. Because based off of what the scripture means and everything, paraphrasing, of course, karma's coming after you and karma's coming to get you. And all these coincidences start linking up. And then boom, all these things come up, and now they hear and they doing their thing.
Up, so it's a master number, which means that it resonates at an extremely high vibration. Angel number 11 represents a transmutation of your personal power to a higher, more spiritual level. It's associated with spiritual illumination and our inner teacher. So it's supposed to be like a higher power, a higher vibration.
Interesting. I'm trying to figure out how does that apply
It's
here?
thought as a master number. Maybe 11.
Maybe because she's the original?
superior. Yeah, 11
That would make more sense.
represents, being superior.
That's unfortunate since the superior died. But I feel like that was some way in its own weird way planned out though. Because she lost all her family, she didn't really bat an eye. But then again, I wouldn't really bat an eye on, a family that I didn't really want or care about to begin with. But I figured the whole point of it all was for her to survive and, start life anew or whatever. But she said that she's trying to send a message. So I'm thinking, how do you send a message to the public like that? I mean, she was already doing that with the people in the organization skills and stuff like that. Like, after everything that's happened, that's the one thing that's not going to change. Like, there's going to be people linked up from coast to coast to coast. So, is that still a win?
What's going to even happen?
That's the
They're
thing.
just going to be linked up.
That's the thing. They're not doing anything but that so far, if they're going to do anything else at all. So I'm wondering, like, is that a win then? Like, was that just like one of those sacrifice for the greater good type deals?
So she was the organizer, and she clearly wanted them to kill the original people, right? Maybe that was another form of revenge, because other people got to go on with their lives too, and she had to replace someone that was, just a clone. So maybe that was a bigger form of revenge. So in the end, she still won because regular people died, and
Yeah.
the clones took over basically.
That's why I'm wondering if it's even a win, or is it more of a sacrifice play, or was that
It
even
was like
planned
a
out?
sacrifice and a win.
Because it seemed like for her to lead her all the way down here, or all the way down there to their old stomping ground, or her old stomping ground technically, which was funny. I didn't even notice that the first time. I'm thinking like, fam, how do you even know to get all the way down there? Like, it was too convenient. Like, this place should be like a huge labyrinth, and you just finding secret doors and stuff like that, and places that you shouldn't, that you said that you ran from. You know what I mean? And then it comes together afterwards, and you're like, okay, I get that. But yeah, I feel like for you to lead her all the way down there and then play with her, so to speak. I mean, because she had the upper hand. She could have killed her at any time, so many times throughout this movie, but she played with it. She played with her food, and then at the last second, she overly did it, because she could have easily did like a little quick stab jab thing or whatever, but she overly extended her stab, and then she let her get gutted. And I'm like, yo, yeah, that's a lot. That's why I think that the white girl didn't kill her. I think she was saving her for her. Like, she wanted to get her, but she's like, I can't, because the big one's supposed to get you. I can't do it. I peeped that the first time, and I was like, that's interesting.
Google Black Flag.
I don't know what Black Flag symbolizes. Burn all nations and government and hoist the black flag on the pole. Basically, a symbolization. So like the white flag is like
Surrender or whatnot. Yeah.
The black flag is like I won, basically. Like
Pillage, plunder type deal. Got it.
Like I took over, basically.
So
Okay.
maybe
So the black flag. Wait, before we get too far into it. So the black flag was on who? The twins?
it was on the guy at the. Was it the guy at the carnival?
Which one?
The whack-a-mole guy, I think.
Okay. I don't think I
The
noticed.
guy, not the whack-a-mole, the guy in the beginning, right? The guy that was...
The one that was giving her the shirt?
Yeah, him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He had on the shirt that said Black Flag, and then one of the twins, the girl, had a shirt that said Black
Like
Flag.
the twins before the clones.
Yeah.
Because they did not both have on Thriller shirts.
No.
One had on the Thriller shirt and the other one
She had the.
She had on.
America. She had a yellow.
Are you talking about?
No.
No,
The other
shirt
one
over
when she won
Yeah.
when the doppelganger quote unquote
and
won
she
the
put
won the shirt.
over the. She had that yellow shirt. It was.
No, it was black like the
No,
other
she
black
when
Oh, it was a
yeah.
Thriller shirt. This is hecka faded. And
Okay.
Jacked up.
Really? I thought it
It
said
is
something.
not.
Other
No,
I
it was
couldn't tell.
Disney.
I don't know what that
Yeah.
thing said. I was looking. I was like, okay, what does it say? Nothing, because it's smudged. That's
Yeah, it
cool.
was hecka jacked up.
Told you, smell it.
So they
my
just have a
dick.
rundown version of everything.
Whack.
I think. Okay, so we discovered Black Flag is that, and
Bunnies.
okay, she
mention
just cut me off with bunnies. No,
Go ahead,
look,
ahead.
I think that this is all symbolic of the white man, right? Right? Follow me. See the white man. See, we is the original man.
So we eating the white man now?
No, not the bunnies. Listen. We're the originals. Okay?
Uh huh.
And they want to get rid of us. The original man, the motherland. They want to use population control and white supremacy. They want to cleanse us, get rid of us, and create a whole new, make America great again. They want to create a new America without us. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's symbolic to that.
I would agree with that. The only problem with that is that of the way it ended, which is what I already explained earlier. The red was not red, but the other one, the fake real one. She did all that fussing and fighting with everybody and stuff like that, trying to get everything to go back to normal. And she even told her son that once again, as I already said, like, oh, everything's gonna be fine, everything's gonna go back to normal. Clearly, it's not. And then they're gonna sit here and try and ignore everything like nothing didn't happen, like they're not covered in other people's blood as well as their own. Meanwhile, as they're riding off into the quote-unquote sunset, there's like millions of people, thousands of people standing there linked in arms in protest. What does that sound like? I feel like it's the other way around, or it would be the other way around. Like we're taking it back, type of situation. Like we're the ones on the bottom, and now we're working our way up to the top, like a Killmonger situation.
You can look at it both ways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I see your way too, just
That's
the
why
same.
it's parallel. Hence the 11.
I can go with that.
What in the? We brought it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck to the no, man.